Hey guys, how are y'all doing? Hope you're having a fantastic week wherever you are in the world. Today, can you guess what we're eating? German Austrian food. There's this one restaurant I've been meaning to go for years and years. It is in Campbell downtown Campbell, and this restaurant is called Naschmarkt. Something like this. It's a little bit on the pricier side, so that's why I just kind of didn't go there for a while. So at the restaurant, I was asking, red wine or white wine? Which one goes well with this dish? And one of the people who were there, I think he was the owner I was talking to, he was saying, go with a light Pinot Noir. Noir means black in French. So typically if I buy wine, I try to go with one that has a serious looking design, something more proper. But today I wanted to be a little different. I found this one called Prophecy. I believe this is a character on tarot reading cards. I gotta open this wine with my Swiss Army knife, which I got from Switzerland. It would have been nice if my name was written in calligraphy. But anyhow, I got this made in 2009, which is 8 years ago. That's when I went to Europe. So this food is German Austrian because Germany and Austria serve this dish. They are neighboring countries. I hope I could open this. It's coming out a little bit. Yes! This is a big glass. I think that might be more than enough red wine for me. So what we're eating today is a Jägerschnitzel. It's a pork schnitzel braised in a mushroom cream sauce with Spatzle, garlic confit, and broccolini. Cheers! I got this food less than an hour ago, so maybe I have a feeling that the pork dried a bit, so it's not like super soft, but the sauce makes up for the texture. When I went to the restaurant, they had such friendly service. They make you feel at home. Every single person who worked there, they had a nice smile, comforting, you know, they make you feel comfortable. In some restaurants, when you go, the waiter or waitress or hostess, they're having a bad day, or they might not be like super happy. So then you're like, oh, the restaurant experience becomes kind of like, you know. And although this pork is a bit dry, just thinking about their smile and their friendly service, it's making this taste even better. So the secret to their recipe is not just the physical ingredients they use, it's the vibes. They put a tablespoon of good vibes. Look at this. This pork went by fast. I could have this whole thing to myself. Originally, I was going to save some for my mom, but I think this dish is like, you gotta have it fresh as possible. So even if I save it for my mom, I think I'd rather take her to the restaurant and eat there with her. So because you need to have that tablespoon of good vibes with this meal to really bring the flavors up a notch, even 2 notches. Let's not forget red wine. You know, when I first started drinking red wine, it would make me put on a face like this. Like that, you know? But when you start drinking whiskey and like hard liquor, this is like smooth in comparison. Let's try the broccolini! If you guys never seen or heard about a broccolini, it's like a broccoli, but a tall broccoli. Like a broccoli that was like pulled and stretched. And broccolini tends to be a little bit more stiff, but here, because it's been cooked, it's more flimsy, as if it did a lot of yoga poses. Mmm. Okay, let's revisit the sauce. I want to describe it in a way that you could taste it in your mouth. The sauce is heavy enough where it gives you a satisfaction, but it's not so heavy where it's like, oh, I feel like I really need to drink coffee or tea and wash this down. This white thing here, those are egg noodles called Spatzle. I'm not quite sure about the pronunciation. It is often found in the cuisines of southern Germany, Austria, Switzerland, Hungary, Alsace, Moselle, and South Tyrol. So the bottom of the Spatzle, it has been swimming in the mushroom sauce. So let's try the top of the Spatzle. But first, let's cleanse our palate. It's a very light flavor. The texture is like a firm tofu. Flavor-wise, it has a very light taste. It's a nice combo with the sauce because the sauce has a lot of flavor. And if you have flavor on flavor and too much flavor going on, they're trying to like battle each other out and get your attention. But here, it's like a nice couple. You know, some couples, opposites attract. Some couples, one of them could be very outgoing and the other one is more quiet and more of a listening type, you know? So this guy, the sauce is very talkative, and the Spatzle is more of a listener type. So when you mix them together, they're not clashing, you know? And then when you mix it together, match made in heaven. The time I got the Swiss Army knife, I visited Rome, and we did wine tasting there. And what I learned was if you go like this and there's a lot of lines going down, it's an indication that it's a good wine. But I'm not sure how true that is. See, those vertical lines are called legs. And I see a lot of legs in this one. I think if I go around in a circle, there's like 40 legs. But it was a cheap wine. Fairly cheap because some wines, it could be like $50 and up per bottle. This one I got it for about $15 US. One of the things I really want to talk to you guys about today is digital detox. Maybe you're already familiar with the term, but it's something I've been practicing daily as possible. I mean, if it's like one of my hardcore video editing days, then I kind of do less digital detox. But on the days I don't edit, I shut off my technology at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. and then I do art. I read, I write, and oh, in the last mukbang, I told you that I'm really into tassels and I wanted to learn how to make it myself. So I bought a yarn and I showed you my ball of yarn. And I made, I think 27 tassels altogether. Just want to show them to you guys because, oh, they're my little babies. It looks like little dresses and like this is a head. And that's the inside of the bottle. I'm thinking about making another 27 more of these. I bought more jump rings. If you're wondering what a jump ring is, oh no! Oh, it went in my mushroom sauce. My precious tassel. I gotta wash this. I gave it a good shower. Short shower, and let's pat it dry. You forever will be remembered as the tassel that wanted to go swimming in the mushroom sauce. So jump rings are these round guys on the top. Mini craft lesson. Do you hear the wind and the rain? the H2O hitting the window pane. Hey, look at that rhyme. And look, garlic. Whoa. When that garlic entered my mouth and I bit into it, it was like, boop, mini flavor bomb, like just a moment. Boop. Cute, cute little flavor bomb. The spatzle, if you look at the strands, they look like triangles, like really tall ice cream cone shapes. Not all of the pieces, just some. They're just really random. Some of them are chunky, some of them are thin, some of them have the shape of like chili pepper, while others have a silhouette of a shrimp. It's just random. It's almost like whoever made it, they went like boom, just like that. I know some people who are very nurturing and they always want to take care of other people and be there for them, and whenever someone needs something from them, they're like always available. Remember to be there for yourself as well. Take care of yourself. Take care of your health. If you're listening to your friends' problems all the time, you might subconsciously get stressed out about it. You know, remember to have time for yourself. Keep yourself sane. I'm surprised. I'm not getting tipsy much. I just want to let you guys know, whatever I say, just take it for a grain of salt. Everyone has their own opinions and their system of living their life. You know, some things I might tell you today that I do, maybe in 1 year or even a couple months later, I might be in a different phase in my life. So I'm just sharing with you at this moment in time what I'm thinking, what I'm up to, you know, like that's the thing. Whatever YouTubers or any online personality or whatever becomes a digital footprint, whatever article anyone writes, anything, just that is the truth for that moment, for that person. Nothing is forever. Many things are not the same years from now, and especially people and places. You know, places are constantly changing. You know, before I went to Thailand, Bangkok, all my family and friends, mostly the ones who have not traveled before, they were saying, oh, you're gonna get your stuff stolen in Thailand, you need to be really careful. People are feeding me all these kind of fears before I went on my Asia trip. Maybe a couple years ago, things were worse for travelers. Maybe it is now, I don't know, I cannot compare. Because I didn't go to Thailand 10 years ago. I went to Thailand about 3 years ago and this past year. So I can only tell you my experience. Because all it takes is one crazy person to change my experience, right? But from what I experienced so far, as long as you're careful with your stuff and you're not like showing the whole world that you have hundreds of dollar bills in your pocket. If you're discreet, your chances of getting anything stolen lowers. And if you don't want things to get stolen, don't carry around a Coach, Gucci, Dolce & Gabbana. Don't carry luxury items because those things are gonna catch people's eye, right? People's eye. And actually, in some parts of Thailand and Vietnam, when you enter like a market, there are security guards saying, oh, be careful of your stuff. When you enter here, make sure you keep it in front of you. Like keep your purse or your wallet or everything just in front of you, in your vision. So that also reduces the risk of you getting pickpocketed with the help of the locals. Singapore is considered a very safe and clean country. I talked to some taxi drivers in Singapore and they're saying, oh, even 15, 20 years ago, it was not like this. So whatever anyone tells you about travel today, and then you end up going to that country 10 years later, don't be like, that person's wrong. What I experienced is totally the opposite. It just is an indication that things are changing. And you had the wonderful opportunity to see that country and experience it as it was in the year 2000, year 2010, year 2016. And also remember, depending on the phase in your life, the way you experience a country, it will change. I think I'm starting to feel this now. You hear that? Oh, there's something so relaxing about hearing that gong. You know, in yoga class, depending on the teacher, we would end with the Om. I started watching this series called Origin, about like how humankind came to be and how we developed our civilizations. I think it was on the National Geography channel. And it's amazing how humans that we're still here today after all these hardships we went through, like the Black Plague. I think, if I remember correctly, the Black Plague wiped out 1/4 of the population in Europe. Wow, hard times. Can you imagine if 1/4 of your country just disappeared? That's pretty much someone you know and someone in your family passing away, graduating from this life. Cheers to humanity and the fact that we're still around. I believe humankind will not last forever, but cheers to the fact that we're still here today. What else can you celebrate but the fact that we have the present moment? You know, sometimes I wonder if Albert Einstein and all these great minds, if they had a different diet, do you think it would have affected the way they think? Maybe they would have come up with something else instead of what they are known for today. Because food certainly can propel us towards our dreams. However, if we eat terrible food, very unhealthy food all the time, then that could be detrimental. Our health might become an obstacle from us achieving our dreams and what we want to do in our life. You know, this bottle, because it looks like a tarot reading card, it reminds me of the time I lived in LA. You know, Una, my best friend of the West, she and we hiked at Griffith Park. When you go to Griffith Park, you can see the Hollywood sign. And after Griffith Park, I don't know, we just get random ideas when we do activities together. We're like, did you ever do that before? And then we go do that thing. And then when we're there, we're like, oh, did you ever eat that before? We're like, no, let's go eat there. So that's what happened. And we ended up at the tarot reading shop. And at the time, I think we were like 22, 23. And the lady was telling me that for me, I'm going to end up marrying a Korean guy in about 4 years at that time. 4 years has passed by. I'm not married. When I went to Korea, I went to some fortune tellers. They take your birth year and your birth time and they do these calculations and then they interpret it. So I went to some fortune tellers, tarot reading, and then people who do like numbers, like I Ching. And I went to different people in different countries because I wanted to compare. I was curious about do all these places, all these different people say the same thing or similar things about my future, about my character, or are they just doing cold reading? You know, I would observe them carefully. They might observe me carefully, but I'm observing them very carefully too. The one thing that they all said was my first child is gonna be a son. No fortune teller ever told me I'm gonna have a daughter. In my earlier years, I wanted to have a daughter, but the older I get, I'm like, if and when I marry, I have a son, so be it. If I have a daughter, so be it. When parents, they're older and we're kids, they filter out a lot of stuff. The older you get, you become an adult and you are, you know, getting closer to your 30s. Your parents open up to you more. Less secretive, less filter. You know, they're just more real with you on a lot of stuff because you can handle the truth more than when you're like a 5-year-old, let's say. Whatever they tell you, it's likely that it's less traumatizing for you to hear as an adult compared to when you're in elementary school. Because you've been exposed to a lot of different experiences and people and all kinds of weird stuff by the time you're almost 30. So now, when I talk to my mom about anything, it's way more fun to talk to her compared to when I was a second grader. Because now I have my own set of experiences and my own set of opinions, and then she could give me her opinion and then her feedback on life and my projects or whatever, you know? So there's much more communication going on and understanding. So although my mom is still my mom, she also plays some role of being like a best friend. And you know, my little cousins, they're like 10 years younger than me. When I was 10 and they were born, what can I talk to them about? But now I'm almost 30, and then they're like almost 20. They're the ones saying, I can't wait until we're 21, then we could go drinking with you. And I'm like, dude, let's go to Vegas. That's how we're gonna celebrate your birthday. Okay, so I told you in the previous mukbang, in the Afghan food mukbang, that, oh, I don't like to go party out late anymore because it takes so much energy. But you know, I will make an exception. I will make exception for my little cousins. When they turn 21, I will go drinking with them. I will stay out until 6 a.m. for them. I want them to have a good time. I don't want them to be like, oh, Mina, why are you being a buzzkill? I want to have a fantastic time with them as well. So when we look back on this memory we had together 20 years from now, we could laugh about it, and just looking at the past, we could smile about it. Whatever anyone says, whatever the rules are, there's always an exception. And if there isn't an exception, there's always the possibility of an exception. I thought this would be very filling, but then again, I didn't have a lot to eat today, so maybe that's why I'm able to eat all this. Typically, I have a very light breakfast, and actually today's lunch it consisted of just veggies and some lentils. And this, did you notice this? Oh, it's pretty heavy. 10 canvases. And I'm so excited. Who knows what sort of final product will be on these. Now, there's nothing quite exciting as white canvas. Well, obviously there are more exciting things, but you know what I mean. When I look at a white canvas, it's like it being a Friday and you're like, what's gonna happen this weekend? Who knows? Oh, you never know what kind of people you might meet if you go out. Even if you're not like super party type, you never know what kind of book you might come across at the library or bookstore. Adventure doesn't always have to be outdoors in the jungle. It could take place in your room, in a book, or just having conversations with people. Like it's like a one-way ticket to somewhere. And then you float right back after a couple of hours. So when I was watching this show called Origins, and they're mentioning that people's lifespans, you know, some people used to live only 20 years and pass on, and even some great poets and artists, they passed away when they're like 30, maybe not even. Sometimes when people pass away at the age of like 50, you're like, oh, they're pretty young. But if you compare it to back in the day, wow, they lived a long time. Especially, you know, like back in the day, people just popped out kid after kid after kid, and they would have like a family of 8 or 9 children, because a lot of the times the children died. If you wanted 4 kids, you might as well make 8 just in case. Sometimes it's easy to think we don't have enough money, we don't have enough of this, we don't have enough of that. But to think that our ancestors, compared to what they had and what we have today, wow, we are living in abundance. We have access to clean water, well, depending on what part of the world people are in, right? And generally speaking, we have access to the internet, access to medicine. Of course, there are some parts of the world they're still working on the infrastructure of their cities and building accessibility. Do you believe in predestiny or willpower? I mean, this wine was called Prophecy. I like to believe that you predict your own future. You say, I'm gonna write a book. And you know what? If you write that book, your prophecy came true. Predict your own future, set your goals, and every day do something to get closer to it. And one day you'll be there, and you are the prophet of your own life. Or perhaps a portion or all of our lives are predestined. But to me, it's kind of like a mind frame change. If you keep telling yourself, oh, I'm not good at anything, I always fail, then you're being a downer on yourself. You know, you're lowering your self-esteem and you're bringing your own confidence down. But if you say, you know what? No matter what, I'm going to keep trying, I'm going to make this work. Then your mind frame changes, and by doing that, you're changing your own fate. In progress, it might not always seem visible. Sometimes it takes 20 years to create something. Like with houses, when you build houses, you have architects involved. You have to have the city approve your design. It could be a long process, year after year. And you're like, when is this house going to get built? You know, and the economy goes down, and then your clients postpone the project, and you're like, oh my gosh. If you don't give up, and you're patient, and you just figure out, you know, you make different methods and different systems to make what you want to do work, and just keep learning and try to figure solutions out. Eventually, you're going to make it work. Of course, if you're like, I'm going to fly in the sky like a bird, well, maybe we won't be able to fly with our own body, but we're flying with the plane. Finish the spatzle and the schnitzel. We have about 2 or 3 more sips of wine left. What should our family name be? What about STEAM team? I think it'd be fun to have it like be food related. That's what my channel is about, food and travel. Do you like STEAM team? And you guys could be called the Steamers. I don't know, maybe that's weird. If you have any ideas for a family name, let me know. If you speak up, your voice will be heard. If you don't speak up at all, not heard at all. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Miss Mina O for delicious selfies. And for the latest updates and where I am in the world right now, check out Snapchat, Miss Mina O. I hope you guys enjoyed eating German Austrian food with me. I'll see you guys in the next travel vlog and mukbang. Bye bye! I gotta show you my last sip.